My name is Teresa Ong. I serve as Associate Vice President of Workforce and CTE Programs at Foothill College. I am so glad to be here at my sister college. I had just mentioned to somebody else that I hadn't seen this place since the pandemic, so it's good to be back. And the beautiful theater, oh my God, I don't know when you built it, but it's absolutely stunning. So, you know, like a good Southwest, anyway, I was going to make a joke. That didn't follow in my brain. So, you are here for partnering with industry and innovative credentials. I just want to make sure you are in the right place, in the right room. We have 4 amazing panelists here. Each of them is going to have a short deck to share with you, and then we will spend the last 20 minutes on questions. If there is time, we're going to try to take questions from the audience. We also have a set of questions that I've already sourced and put together. So it's my pleasure to introduce our panelists first. First, Chris Torlin from Trane. Please give it up. Our second panelist is Angel Fuentes from Evergreen. And Sanjay from San Jose City College, and I know his president is in the house. And then Chris Post from Microsoft. Let them take it away, and I'm going to pass the mic on.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Chris Torlin. I'm a professional engineer with Trane Technologies. Trane is a global climate and energy innovator. So we, oftentimes people recognize us as an HVAC company. We do that. We are a global manufacturer, 40,000 employees, over 100 manufacturing plants around the world. We do energy efficiency in buildings. We optimize buildings, building performance, heating, cooling systems, building controls. So we work with campuses and large buildings all over. So my role is educational programs engineer. So I'm going to share with you today a little bit about some of the programs we put together and how we can partner with industry in this way. I said that we're an HVAC company. Yes, we have HVAC technicians. Yes, if you guys have those programs, that's fantastic. It's kind of how this kind of got started, but I'm going to expand kind of your knowledge about how this can benefit your students and benefit your campuses. A brief kind of overview of what this meant from my understanding. Not long ago, just a few years ago, this is how I analyzed buildings when I did energy efficiency on them. This is your monthly utility bills. That's electrical data for a building. That's 12 data points for the year. We now can very easily get 15-minute data, so that's 35,000 data points. That's energy usage per building for a year. So I can see so much more what's going on in the building. That happened almost overnight, just 5 to 8 years ago. It doesn't stop here. So this is one data point, one energy meter in your building. But now take it beyond that. When you think of your systems, your heating systems, your boiler, your pumps, your fans, your motors, your temperatures, your pressures, your indoor air quality, carbon dioxide levels in the building, we can take all of those points and collect it at 15 minutes data, have access to it, we can store it, we can analyze it. So that's how our industry is now leveraging data. We're connected to buildings all over. This is growing. Down here in the lower right that you can't see, it says we collect 7 billion data points a day. In 5 years, that's going to be 15 billion data points. And by 2050, that's going to be 50 billion. So this continues to grow. So one connection to make with AI, this graph over here on the left are carbon emissions. If you're not aware that the United States has been declining in carbon emissions, we peaked in 2007, it's been going down. This is by reducing coal plants and increasing renewable energy and electric cars and this sort of thing. Total energy consumption in the United States has largely remained flat over the last, since about 2000. As the economy has grown, economies have grown, energy efficiency has allowed us to maintain that level. This is about to change. It takes 10 times the amount of energy to run an AI function as it does to just make a simple Google search. So when we talk about this advent of artificial intelligence and data, there's an energy impact. It's affecting all, it affects our infrastructure, the amount of energy that's needed, how are we going to produce that data, how are we going to get it to the locations that are needed. Our company, our chillers are used in data centers to cool the equipment, and so all of that uses energy. So how do we do that and leverage that effectively? So that's in the conversation. But what I want to point you to is by 2025, 70% of jobs, 70% of all jobs will involve working with data. So yes, we need data scientists and programmers and developers and all of that. Those are fantastic, but what about everybody else? We've created, with our partners NC3, the National Coalition of Certification Centers, industry-recognized certifications that start students with understanding how to use data. So think of these as 10-hour little mini courses that students can take and earn a certification. They build upon each other. They advance in certs 3 and 4. We can use your own data from your own building to give them real-world knowledge. On the lower left and lower right, we've got a decarbonization cert, and now an AI, artificial intelligence cert, where it's focused for all students around these bottom two circles around prompt engineering and querying. How can they effectively use AI in whatever role they're in? So Trane is not a big data company. We're not a Google or an Amazon, but we represent all the other companies where everyone is either trying to learn how to use data and artificial intelligence to be more productive and more profitable, or they're trying to learn how to do it better. It's a continuous improvement. And so we've created our own internal artificial intelligence to get over these humps that companies are challenged with, protecting your intellectual property. And so that whether you're an R&D engineer or whoever, or whether you're the front office person, that you're encouraged now to do this. Well, all of your students going into industry, or one day, just like the internet is now, you're going to be expected to have some of these skills. So we can set our students up for success. These graphs represent an internal research that we did around the time the time efficiency that can be gained as someone does certain tasks using a personal assistant, artificial intelligence, or not. What I think is important on these charts is it's by age, and so on the left-hand side of the chart is age. It's a 20-year-old versus on the right-hand side a more experienced, up to 60 or so years old. And so who benefits the most by leveraging AI in their role? Well, it's not maybe you and I that have been in our industry forever. It's the folks coming out of your colleges that don't fully understand how to summarize or create instructions or create an outline for that don't have a full grasp. And so that's where they have the huge benefit. From there, we can literally turn your colleges into a virtual living learning lab. All of those data points that I spoke about, all of those systems, we can leverage that into literally any of your programs. This goes for certainly engineering and these types, but mathematics and statistics, business classes, where you want real world data that your students can analyze and process and create. I lead capstone projects, so right now I've got 15 capstone students in 4 different groups in different colleges that are using their own data for their own projects so that they can look at ways. They're looking at energy and mechanical systems for the more mechanical engineering type folks that can leverage this to come up with solutions for their campus. Now here's the benefit. When all of our campuses have aging infrastructure and facilities that are taking care of this, the federal government, there's dollars available to incentivize efficiency and sustainability. So all of this, there's $1.2 trillion of government funds that are available on top of energy efficiency that allows you all to do this. Digital twin is another, I'll just kind of quickly, where all of this data can analyze and predict what's going on with companies. or with your equipment in the building. But what we can do is take that and create what all employers are looking for. How do our workers leverage AI and artificial intelligence? How do they do that creatively? Communicate that with confidence so that we can create innovation. And down here at the bottom, critical thinking is more important than ever. Your peers are not going to be replaced by robots. They potentially may be replaced by their peers who are leveraging data analytics and doing a more effective job. Thank you.
So on hearing that, and I think yesterday I LinkedIn stalked all of our panelists, and then one of the things Chris said on his LinkedIn profile was that we live in this age, I'm paraphrasing, right? We live in this age of opportunity where there's so much data that we can leverage. How do we then teach our students and have our students be the ones to take advantage of that much data? And with that, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Sanjay Doriraj, who has actually built a certificate in data analytics at San Jose City College, and I'm going to invite you to come take the stage.
Okay. Hey folks, my name is Sanjay. I'm going to walk around anyway. I'm Sanjay. I'm with San Jose City College. I'm also advising the Chancellor on AI initiatives. I work at AWS as I lead some work on data parallelism related to building LLMs. I'm here to talk about how San Jose City College got involved with building out our data analytics program, and also talk to you about how you can get involved as well, right? As well as the motivation behind the program itself, right? So let me move to the next slide. So basically, sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to the choir because you guys already know a lot of this stuff. Basically, we're living in sort of unprecedented times, as you all know. There's basically, we're not sure like what the future is going to be like, especially for education, right? With generative AI, there's just so much change, and what I've noticed and what you are all noticing is that the people that are in the know, the people that have the information, are going to be exponentially superior to folks that don't have information and don't know about these technologies. And I feel like, being community college professors, our students, as always, are always at the, receiving end, at a disadvantage. So, I think part of our challenge is to make sure that we can level the playing field for our students so we can bring them the best of what is out there to where they are, so they can, ramp up and basically compete, right? Because we're going to see folks that are going to be 10x faster and more productive if we're not in the race. And that's basically like one of the reasons why it is so important for us to, make sure that our students are able to have the right opportunity to skill themselves here. The other thing that I wanted to point out was, while we don't know what the future holds for us, right, I think we want to be directionally aligned with where the future is headed, right? And one thing that we know is that no matter how things are, data is always going to have and play an important role, right? And that's why like investing in data studies, data analysis, data analytics is crucial for our students today. And that's the reason why at San Jose City College, we're investing for the past several years to make sure that our students are able to be part of this change. So in terms of how this all started, like way back in 2018, at San Jose City College, we started a partnership with UC Berkeley. We were the first college, I believe, in the state to partner with, I don't know, anyone from UC Berkeley is here. We brought the Data 8 program to our campus, and now pretty much the whole world is using Data 8. I'm sure some of you here are also using Data 8. What we found with the Data 8 program was that while it was great in terms of introducing data science, it required students to have a programming background. And once again, like going back to what the Chancellor was talking about, right? The moment we require a programming background, we are creating obstacles for our students to basically, to take part in this program. So we wanted a program that didn't require any programming skills. So we could pretty much like broaden the playing field for our students, and that's why we came up with the Data Analytics Certificate, a program that required 0 software programming skills. The only thing it required was Google Sheets. We brought in SQL, which is sort of like really basic programming, right? And we essentially created a 4-course certificate program that included business analytics, SQL, Tableau, and statistical data analysis. None of them required programming, and we offered it to our students. And this certificate program is always waitlisted. Always. For the past 2 years I've been offering it. There have always been a ton of students interested because it's just so easy to enter. And the first thing what they ask is, does it require software programming? Because if they do, they're just afraid of that. So here we are leveling the playing field, creating more equity and access for our students. Cool. So let me move on to the need for partnerships. So obviously, like alone, we are not going to be successful because the industry is moving really quickly, and the pace at which education and training and learning are evolving, it's just hard for us to keep up. And that's where we partnered with Stanford. Michael Acedo's here. From Stanford, Michael is here. We partnered with Stanford and Google in order to bring the Google Data Analytics Certificate into SJCC. And we've been having this for about 1.5 years now, and once again, because we noticed that the certificate program itself doesn't meet all of the requirements for our course, we sort of created a hybrid format where we sort of leverage pieces, the best from the certificate program and the content that we're offering to build out a program that our students can really, that's meaningful for our students. So pretty much like when students complete this program, they get 2 certificates. They get one from SJCC and they get another from Google and Coursera. And again, like I did research in 2017, sometime back, on MIT, like MOOC, like Massive Online Open Course Success Rate. Only about 6% to 7% students that actually enroll in an online platform complete the course. But here we are, like we are over an 80% completion rate for the students that come to our program. So the fact that you're bringing in Coursera into a teacher-led instruction environment makes all the difference, right? It improves and gives our students the edge and the chance to compete and be successful and later on move on to more rewarding careers. And finally, just to talk about some of the challenges that we had, including the challenge I'm having right now with this. Okay, cool. Some challenges, not that we couldn't overcome. We need to, right now, so Coursera, we use Canvas, and we have to sync scores, no problem. I do it manually, and we're working with Google and Coursera to help make that happen. There's an R programming module component that's in the course that we use today, and that's required for the Google certificate. But our students have said that once they actually go through the Data Analytics Certificate program, they're much more capable of tackling that R programming course, which is the beauty of it, right? Because we're leading them on with no skills, and we're introducing them to something that requires programming. And Yeah, and finally, like if you're actually looking to grow this even more, there's a lot of, Michael is here from Stanford. He can help get us started on this partnership. You can reach out to me and I can help you with that. And you can also take a look at our course details over here, the program, the curriculum, if you want to know more. And finally, key takeaways. Don't wait for perfect tools. I mean, sometimes I'm with faculty and then we're saying, oh, there's no Canvas integration, so I'm not doing it. Don't, because every day that you wait is a day that your students are going to be left behind. So don't wait for perfect tools, go with what is there, and let's figure it out on the way, right? How do we make things happen? How do we make things a better place? But don't wait. Teach students to learn quickly. The one skill that's most important is not data science, computer science is the skill to be able to learn better. You want to teach your students how to learn quickly, how to learn better. Make them face ambiguity in your classroom, right? Make things ambiguous and show them how to deal with that ambiguity. Because then they'll be successful to work in an unpredictable future. And finally, prepare students for AI-driven future. Right? I think embrace AI, like everyone's been saying. It's not a threat. It's something that pretty much it's kind of like a running stream. You can't resist it for too long, right? You have to jump into it and get to know it, because otherwise, we'll be in the Stone Age and everyone else will be somewhere else. And I don't think we want to do that to our students. That's all. Thank you.
I want to introduce our next speaker. Name is Caprice Post, and I want to say, Sanjay and I didn't rehearse this, but really what you want to do with your students is have them grow up and become a Caprice Post, because she has extensive experience in higher ed, product management, technology. She's a strategist at Microsoft, and she's also a disability advocate. And I just want to say we are soul sisters before you even know it, because that's exactly that kind of is my background, but not. But so we need to connect right after this. And so with that, Caprice.
Sorry, I don't have a slide deck. We'll get it sent afterward or make it available. What I wanted to talk to you about today, it's not the usual Microsoft spiel about AI, because I know that you can go and see that anywhere. What we really want to talk about is how do we get it in the hands of our students? And it's really following the same theme. What are our opportunities for students to understand AI and how it can make their lives better? And I'm not talking about cheating, because that's the first question I hear from every educator is how do we stop them from cheating? What we have to do as a company, as an organization, and as schools, you need to learn how to teach critical thinking around AI. Those important pieces that Microsoft has been embracing, I hear this all the time. It's a co-pilot, not a pilot, when we talk about our AI solutions. We want to teach those students to be pilots that can depend upon their co-pilot, whatever tool it might be, even if it's not a Microsoft tool. But it's really important that you understand how we're going to get those students embracing AI. It's very important for us to democratize AI. We're seeing already there's the haves and the have-nots. And when we talk about equity and accessibility, it's very important. Those that probably have the least resources to purchase their own AI tool or their own AI subscription are probably the ones that need it the most. I've seen in many of my K-12 schools that I help support the value of how AI's language models resolve this language barriers between educators and parents, helping them with their students. We're seeing it every day on how it can improve lives. We talk about disability. My daughter's deaf. She's 21, she's in college, and nothing has been better for her than AI. Things like live captioning. All of these pieces that everyone else in COVID, it was terrible. She couldn't read lips. Suddenly, she was more deaf than ever. And then she sat behind online learning class that had captioning. And then she had the ability to do intelligent recap on a meeting that she goes to classes now. She pulls up a meeting, she records it, she pops that into her AI engine to help her with that. She's still a fantastic student. She can write on her own. but this is giving her that equitable playing field that we want to see. That's how our students succeed. We want to teach students the art of prompting. It's a silly statement sometimes, but how important it is to have a prompt that gets you the correct results. It's easy enough to cut and paste some faculty member's assignment, saying, hey, finish my assignment for me. But what you need to look as educators is how do we measure this? Looking at things like grading the prompt, requiring students to cut and paste that prompt and which AI tool they used, and actually grade on that. Grade on how many different revisions of the prompt they had to use to make their output better. How do they go through and check sources and verify it's not a hallucination? These are such important questions and thoughts that we need our educators considering every day. So when a student walks into a class and they get their assignments and the educator says, no AI, you're doing them a disservice. They're going to use AI anyway, and they're not going to use it well. What you want is to teach them how to use it, how to harness it, how to verify that it's accurate. I've watched in many of the workshops that we do, we'll have challenge prompts out there, people build them, and I've watched people learn more about a silly little prompt because they have to refine it. They have to go and double check and make sure it's accurate. And that is the place where learning is happening now. Things have changed in that learning space. I love the statement of teach them to learn quickly with ambiguity, and I'm going to use it again and I'll attribute it. It's wonderful. These are students that are accustomed to the Snapchat generation. They get their bits of information in 60 seconds or less. I've watched them scroll through, oh, this is going to be 2 minutes. I don't want to watch that. That's way too long. 2 minutes. So as educators, how do we use AI to accelerate that learning, to give them fast snippets, very concentrated and high value, so that we can teach them where they're at and make sure that we have that accessibility available to all. So that's all I have today.
And our last speaker is Angel Fuentes from Evergreen Valley College. Well, we need some applause for him. Applause right there, trying to think of what I might say about Angel, because I've known him for a while. We've Zoom-friendlied each other for a while. We've been, for the last couple of months, working on a very crazy grant. We won't go there. But, and a definite trusted buddy, and I'm so excited that you're here to chat with us.
Thank you. None of that is true. I'm terrible. I was blinded by the light before, pun intended, and now I'm sorry. I see little black holes, and if you know me, it's appropriate because I'm an astronomer. So I'm just gonna see like little holes everywhere now. I also wanted to add before I start. I wanted to add to what my colleague was saying. There was a beautiful example. I'm trying to get her name again as well about how AI is helping people. Representative Jennifer Wexton of Virginia's 10th Congressional District lost her voice a few years back. She was already representing, she had campaigned, she had her voice, and then she lost her voice. And it was earlier this summer, that basically fed her speeches into, she was using a text-to-speech app. She sounded kind of like Hawkins, right? Very robotic, very computer-like. So they fed her speeches into an AI system, and now she records, she types her speeches, and her voice comes out of the speakers now, because this AI system is replicating her voice like she used to sound. So she just stands there at the floor of the house and plays these speeches that she wrote, but the voice is actually her voice, not some computer-generated, random, robotic kind of style voice. And I love that example. I shared it on LinkedIn. I told my friends. It was great. They think I'm crazy, so it's okay. I'm Angel Fuentes, or Angel Fuentes Figueroa, for my mother, and I'm in trouble. She uses my whole name. And I'm here to talk to you about some examples of how to develop programs at your college, where you're at, or even university in AI. My journey started a few years back, in 2017-ish. I wasn't even in California. Intel Corporation, I lived in Arizona for 18 years. And I was working at this college called Chandler Gilbert Community College in the Maricopa system. And at that point, Intel comes to us, they have a plant in Chandler, Arizona, right next to us. This college is Chandler Gilbert, it's perfect. They come to us and say, we have this curriculum that that we teach in high schools in Singapore. We call it the Singapore curriculum, but we'd like to bring it to the United States for colleges. So we want you to make it, pump it up, make it more rigorous, make it college worthy. And so me and another faculty member, who at the time was an Intel engineer, got together. This guy is, I take credit for this, he's brilliant. His name is Habib Matar. He went to the college when he graduated from the college when he was 14. And at this point, he was about 20, and now he's a professor at the college. He quit his job at Intel. He wanted to go back to the college and give back to the college. He was making money at Intel, and he loved the college so much. He came back, and now he's a professor there in engineering. Habib and I got together and did it. We took the curriculum, we pumped it up, and we started offering the first associate's degree in artificial intelligence in the United States. And then this big, bad thing happened to everyone in 2020. And it sort of fizzled a little bit, not really, but it kind of cooled down a little. But we launched it in 2020, and we beat Houston Community College by a week. I'm very competitive. So, yes. But now Houston has a bachelor's degree in Maricopa doesn't. But they're working on it. And so that's how fast this has progressed. Miami-Dade College, Houston Community College, and now Maricopa Community Colleges through Chandler Gilbert and Estrella Mountain College, Community College. They're both working on bachelor's degrees in AI. So this is moving really fast. The accreditation agency, the Higher Learning Commission, is down at Chandler Gilbert this week, and they are going to be talking about that. This is what happened after that. I said, I'm tired of the heat, and I want to move somewhere where it's cooler. So I went to the Bay Area. I came here to Oakland, actually. I still live in Emeryville, and I drive to Evergreen every day. Just like our chancellor lives far away as well. And we have a good drive every day. But yeah, so do all my thinking there. We created this. This is how basically, this is how it worked at Chandler Gilbert in Arizona. I brought these ideas to the faculty, I became a dean, brought these ideas to the faculty at Lane College, and this is what we developed, what the faculty developed. There's an associate's degree in AI, followed by 3 certificates that are stackable. These 3 certificates put together with the basic AI and machine learning courses form the associate's degree, of course, the gen eds and all that. But as you're completing your associates, you are picking up certificates, which is great for us that need to show completer numbers and success rates and so on. It really helps us increase those numbers, and if you're apportionment, that helps even more in terms of funding for the colleges and for the district. So we created it like that. There's three basically basic areas of artificial intelligence we wanted to focus on: computer vision, deep learning, and natural language processing, which is your ChatGPT and so on. I have an exciting story about deep learning, deep learning down here. Deep learning that I'm going to share in a second, but this is a complicated flow chart. This is what the program looks like. No, don't worry, don't take a picture. I'm going to give you a QR code next. My last slide, I'm going to keep it short, that has all of this, okay? So this is what it looks like. It's just, again, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision. What we started back was just those 3, but now the faculty have gotten together and formed a consortium in California. A consortium of faculty that want to create these AI programs across the entire state. And they have modified it and added this path right here. The generative AI, the applied generative AI branch to it. And so you're gonna start seeing multiple colleges across the state. Since it's being done on one college and they're working together, it's easy to replicate at other colleges. Plus, it makes it transferable between the colleges. Really easy one-to-one. And so the students can take a class somewhere else if they want to, and then transfer the credits to the other college. The other thing that is happening in this one is that they are also using the brand new approved AI course code that the state approved earlier this year. And so they are creating a workforce program. So it's available for strong workforce, plus it's also available for so many other opportunities to put students into well-paying jobs when they graduate. So it helps us as well in those teen employment numbers and so on. And here's the QR code. I need to give thanks first to the Bay Area Community College Consortium, the ACCC, because this was all done. This was all done through funds from Strong Workforce, specifically through the regional joint venture from regional funds. And here it is. All the information is in there. On the BACCC website, you'll see the flow chart, all the course descriptions, and all the updates we have from this project. Although I've left Laney, I'm still part of the Bay Area Community College Consortium, so I'm still working with them and advising them. From an advisory role now, advising them on that. Another great thing I wanted to add at the end is that, as you might have heard, and I'm hoping I'm not spilling the beans here, State Chancellor is here. There was a big news release about the state signing an MOU with NVIDIA on some of this work. That deep learning part, that is what this thing, I think, this MOU is going to touch first. That's going to affect in a good way first. They want to start training faculty, staff, qualified at first folks. They set some guidelines, some basic guidelines. You need to know Python, things like that. To be able to go through that process, through that training with NVIDIA, you become an NVIDIA deep learning ambassador at your college at that point. It's all free, right? And it'll be great. It'll be one of those opportunities that we will see often in professional development. And they even said, hey, Angel, I was like, I know Python, I took a class in college. Can I, hopefully I remember it, can I do it? And can I take the training? They're like, we would love for you also. So if you know Python, or you want to take a course in Python and learn it and then do this, I think that would be great if you want to sign up for it. And that's what we do. That's how we do it.
Now I'd like to invite our panelists to actually sit up there. I'm going to see how I might turn the lights off. Oh, thank you, Angel. Awesome, thank you. So, Angel, I'm going to start off with you first. Since I see a number of chancellors and our Sonia right in the back. Oh, she disappeared. Okay, I'm going to use my teacher voice. So, Angel, the CCC system itself is a very, very large group of employees, and in and of itself a very large workforce. And we are also in need of education and training in AI. So if you were to design a training program that every employee in the CCC goes through, what are 3 maybe student learning outcomes you might want us to follow?
Yeah, that's all that.
Oh, no.
So if I were, I can use my teacher voice. If I were to give you 3 learning outcomes, I would start with, I'm the Dean of Business and Workforce Development, so my focus might be too workforcey, but it's one of the most wonderful areas of the college, or the most wonderful. So, I mean, I'm an astronomer. I was doing math and sciences, and I could not. I was like, no, I gotta go back to workforce. I think it would be those applications. How to apply, like they did at the Consortium of AI Faculty. How does AI apply for generative AI for jobs? How do you apply this to your profession, apply this to healthcare, apply this to different financial jobs as well, are highly impacted by AI. Even accounting. Accounting firms are now creating their own AI systems to handle their data. So everywhere it is now being affected by this. So we'll definitely start with an application, a way to really get something that they can take on when they start a job and take it there and really just hit the ground running when they get to that point. At least that's what I would say.
Thank you. It works now. Thank you so much. I'm actually also going to stick with the community college theme. Sanjay, I have a question for you. I bought 2, I didn't buy just 2. I bought 8 MetaQuest goggles about 2 years ago, and I think they're obsolete right now already. So, and so we know the speed of technology, we know the speed of AI. How can we in community colleges more effectively anticipate future workforce needs, develop the right credentials for the right time, and stay ahead of this rapidly evolving field?
Can you hear me? So I think, again, thanks for the question. I think it's a great question. I think a big part of, obviously, like, we cannot do this alone, right? I think what we're looking at right now is that, we are actually part of a much larger system. There's industries, there's universities, there's colleges, there's the government, and we need to figure out like how we can actually embrace all of these partners in order to help us stay relevant, right? I mean, it's really fascinating. Sometimes like I just focus on computer science, like, which is what I do, but then I find out that if I broaden my domain, like if I start talking to people in the medical field, or I start talking to people in other fields, they just bring in this wealth of information that I would never have figured out. It's kind of like the story when if you don't know the full picture, then you start making assumptions. But as you involve other partners, then you're able to make better decisions because you're seeing the big picture. And I think that's sort of where this should start. I think it starts with making sure that we first have the full context or better context of where we are headed, right? So partner with other folks, like for example, you have the NVIDIA MOU that we just spoke about. There's other work going on with Google, Stanford, IBM, Microsoft. We're trying to bring everyone into the fold so we can get their perspective. Partner with, even within your own college, like partner with other departments and divisions. You'll find that they bring in a wealth of knowledge that that you may not have felt that would be needed. So I would say like the first step there is just to open up to other departments, be open to working with others, and then use information that you get in order to figure out how to chart the next step.
Thank you. My next question is for Caprice. Sometimes it feels like this digital transformation and innovation in education kind of feels like trickle down. It comes from Microsoft or Google, and then it trickles down maybe into the MITs and Stanfords, and then it comes down to us. And at least that's the way it felt like in the 2000s, right? So how can we make sure that this AI story is different?
So, first off, I want to point out that you want a speedboat, not a cruise ship, when you're trying to make a turn. And community colleges, they're speedboats. I know that you're underfunded. I recognize that. But you have the ability to pivot and to turn much faster than the MITs and Stanfords. They are behemoths, and they have the money behind it, but you guys have the agility. So in this discussion, the way that I would really address it is know your technology, make good technology partnerships. With companies like Microsoft, of course, we have so many free tools out there for students, for student developers, GitHub Copilot, Azure AI credits for every single student. So being small and not having funding isn't always going to be that obstacle. It's understanding the environment, providing access to students. Companies like Microsoft, almost every one of us have mentorship programs and scholarship programs that we can get involved with in your community. We have all kinds of education advocates through the company that are out there. So take advantage of that. When I talk about access, make sure that all of your students have equitable access to the tools and that it's well documented. So many students go without the tool they need simply because they don't know it's available. So understand that environment and remember that you are more agile than you think. It's not always money that determines how fast you can embrace something.
Thank you so much. Chris, in your role as the education program manager, what do you think is one or two key takeaways you'd like us educators to have in this when it comes to AI? You are an employer, you're going to hire some of our folks. What would you want our students to be equipped with when they come see you at the recruiting table or at an interview?
Thank you. So when the first thing is, if I put myself in the student's shoes, is kind of recognize where they're at currently. I've got a 17-year-old junior in high school, and I asked him if he was learning about AI in school. He kind of gives me the side eye, like, why are you asking this question? Because if I was going to choose him, I'm cheating. And then he kind of admits, he goes, I already know how. And so he picked this up. He probably, streamlined a homework assignment. My daughter is a sophomore returning for her second year in college. And I asked her the same question, are you learning AI in college? We talked about this, and she had this confused look of, well, I don't think we're allowed to use that at all. She, well, maybe that changed, and so she had no idea. I showed her to think if she in 3 years when she's done with college is still in that frame of mind of oh, I shouldn't be using AI because like all of us, we're trying to figure this out and plagiarism, etc. It is a challenge, but I believe we can get past that now. And so one, the students don't know. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know the opportunities that are out there. Like I explained a little bit earlier, that there's so much opportunity. These companies we want them to be technologically advanced and leverage that for their own skill level. Right? The other thing that I think is important for you all to know is that with the limited funding, aging infrastructure, and all the things oftentimes colleges are putting out fires with the buildings and stuff, that your facilities department and oftentimes your administrators, what we largely find is they don't know that there's dollars available out there to help upgrade your facilities, but then also leverage them. Those same dollars that they're going to use to fix your air conditioning system can also be put into the classrooms.
We actually do have time. I have 4 more questions, but I would actually instead like to open it up to the audience if anybody has a question. And somebody, the nice lady in pink, and I'll come back down to the front.
To follow on some of the answers that have been given, what would you put in an ethical code of AI usage for students? Use the mic.
What would you put in an ethical code for AI usage for students?
Did you all get that?
Say it in the mic so that the reporters can pick it up.
What would you put in an ethical code of AI usage for students?
Yep, for me, as we develop this AI certification where students learn to use that, it's training around when to use it and when it's not appropriate to use it. It's the critical thinking skill of, hey, here's the response from that, and where did it come from, and does it make sense? And so that there's an education around knowing that, hey, this isn't just writing your English paper for you. I love how Chris said that it's a co-pilot. It's not competitive.
And that would be my second student learning outcome. It would be regarding ethical implications on how AI is used. So I would basically make sure the students understand where the data is coming from. If we feed just the internet into, let's say, ChatGPT, the internet is used by westernized countries mostly, and so it's already slightly biased towards that. But it's also used by affluent folks that have access to the internet more than low-income folks that don't have access to the internet. And so there's already biases in there. So we have to make sure the students understand that and can then correct for it, apply other data, apply other means of the AI learning, how to apply, how to answer a question or direct an answer. That's what I would do for the second ILO or SLO.
I can go next. I think the way that I would look at it is that students do themselves disservice when they use AI for not increasing their knowledge. Right? I think what I tell my students in class is, the degree or the certificate doesn't get you a job. What gets you a job is you being able to go and stand in front of an interviewer, and you're not going to have any AI tools then, and you have to go and answer the hard questions that they ask. So I think what is important is for us to remind our students that they're going to be tested out there in the field, and if they take a shortcut, they're doing themselves disservice. Right? I think that's how I would want to frame language in there, to keep reminding them of the importance of using the opportunity to learn and not to take a shortcut.
So just to
Teresa, this is a question that follows on from your trickle-down comment. And so I'm Riza Rasool, I'm chair of a non-profit AI lab that is specifically focused on the issues. So the question I want to pose is, there seems to be a tacit assumption that platforms powerful individuals can resist that tacit assumption, like Scarlett Johansson saying, no, that's my voice, you can't monetize it. How do we protect the intellectual property of instructors and professors and so on, and not have that vacuumed up in the SaaS services of the oligopoly that's controlling AI?
Actually, I wonder, Caprice, if you might take that question.
So the important pieces around security and privacy with AI, it's very common to say that any of our data can be used because it's open and it's available and it can be scrubbed by some AI engine. But understanding what your organization or your individuals have as far as copyrighted data and understand how you secure it and stop your student data or your course data from being scraped. So that kind of falls more into like a data loss prevention and security strategy for each of your schools to understand where your data is and how you protect it. And another thing that using AI tools that respect copyright or that acknowledge it, and there are many tools out there, of course I love Copilot, but one of the things it does that it's very good at is it gives references for all of its data. It does not rewrite something that's copyrighted. So when whatever those results are, you own the results, but it attributes whatever it might be, so whether it's a voice or a quote or from another article, and it will have that bibliography of sorts attached to it.
I would just add that the only thing I would add to that would be, we have to be careful in education, higher education especially because of FERPA laws. So we cannot put all this data from students, from their answers and all that. We can't do that from the start on all this. So it limits us in how we can use it as faculty members, and I do teach a class. So in the evenings, so I can basically I don't do that, but I can ask that, hey, I need an idea for a question, for an exam. I can do it that way. I think also this is where we have an opportunity in faculty as well, and actually, I know the faculty were working on how can we create an app that is our own, a system that is our own, that the data we control ourselves, and faculty can control ourselves. And then that way they can create curriculum and things like that, but that it doesn't go out into the universe. As much as we can prevent that, the students will always post something online, right? But at least we can prevent that as much as we can by creating our own. I know faculty who are working on it, and maybe we'll see that soon.
Thank you. And I'm being told that I'm holding you all up for lunch. Feel free to stay if you'd like to interact with our panelists, but thank you so much for